Around the world and across Nigeria, this is Enterprise Television, and I welcome you back to Enterprise Friday today. Now to our main conversation. 4 soldiers were killed yesterday as the sit-at-home declared by the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, and the movement for the actualization of Biafra, Masob, to honor Biafra heroes and heroines who died during the Nigerian Biafra civil war thrown bloody. From Anambra to Enugu, Imo, Abia and Ebonyi states, the streets were deserted, schools, banks and markets shut, while commercial activities were grounded in most parts.
That's right. In compliance to the sit-at-home, there was total compliance to the directive in Umuahia, the Abia state capital, in the early hours of the day before some gunmen reportedly attacked a military unit located at Obikabia Junction, Ogbo Hill area, and shot dead 3 soldiers. Residents expressed disappointment that the police and security agents who urged them to go about their lawful businesses were nowhere to be seen, as people observed the sit-at-home as erected by unknown enforcers.
Very true. However, the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum, Hope Uzodimma, noted that there was no justifiable reason to murder soldiers who were not engaged in any conflict with anyone, and asked the military to go after the criminals without taking laws into their hands. The President General of Ohaneze Ndibo Worldwide, Chief Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, who paid a visit to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu yesterday, stated that Kanu was sad about the killing of soldiers, pleased for the security of the society, requested the government should explore a political dialogue to the situation ravaging the southeast of Nigeria. Our guests today, and still in the studios, are Barrister Fansufeli and Cyril Abaku. Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of the show and hanging around. Now, this has been a perennial issue. Over 2 decades or so, we've been battling from Masob now to Ipob. It has gravitated to sit-at-home and so many other carnage ravaging the southeast of Nigeria. Particularly yesterday, the sit-at-home, came with a surprise blow, because before now, residents of the southeast of Nigeria thought all was well. Governors had told them they were safe and nothing was going to happen to them, particularly Mba of Enugu State. But surprisingly, the sit-at-home was deadlocked and everyone was scared for their lives. How do we get to a resounding solution in all of these issues ravaging the southeast? Let me start with you, Barrister Fans.
Yes, one thing we must speak out from, since Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, the one thing we must speak out is, if you read the social reading proper, you'll notice that whatever a governor tells you in the southeast, as proper as constituted now, is not a final authority. The governors are not in charge of the state in the southeast. They are not in charge. We've seen situations where governors will ask banks to open on Monday, sit at home, and the Ipob will give a contrary order, and the banks will not open. So we have seen over and over again. So when they now ask people to go their lawful duty and all that, and the governors are saying that, like they have the powers, they are not the chief security officers of the state in the east, because of that agitation for succession and the fact that Nnamdi Kanu is in incarceration. The more you keep him in incarceration, the more the people will vent for his release, and they will declare days and call them no movement days, because you are still keeping him. The man did not jump bail. The Supreme Court of Nigeria have said the federal government, the army, the conduct of the army when they invaded this power was irresponsible. That the extraordinary rendition was contrary to the laws on extradition. And that the only thing the Supreme Court could not do was to proclaim his release. You understand? Now, the governors, the state, the people, everyone is in a conundrum, because we have refused to take decisions that will lead to a lasting peace in the South. Before now, there is no issue in the Southeast, issues of insecurity. But now, just like the North, the Southeast is not safe. And there's no guarantee that even after Nnamdi Kanu's release, peace will return there.
But with Chief Emmanuel Iwanya was seeking for a political solution. What exactly is he talking about?
Well, it's talking about the release of Nnamdi Kanu. That's exactly what it is.
So that is a political solution?
Yeah, that is what it is. Because what other political solution do you have? Which other political crisis do you have that you need solution in the South other than Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration? So that you can have... the truth is that the Southeast have been badly managed since Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration. The governors did not exert their powers. The army could do as much as they can. But like Okwama, like Abia, gradually the citizens are emboldened to take down soldiers. Before now, in the 80s, 90s, even in 2000, to say that you kill one soldier from Bayelsa to those places where they kill soldiers and they were raided down to Okwama. This one now 4 in Abia. We don't know what's going to happen today because the army, they are predictable when it comes to reprisal. And those who kill those 4 persons might no longer be in the location.
Very true.
The location where they were killed, the army might go there and raise the place down. And they are going to raise down innocent people. That is why you should not even strike to kill one soldier. Because what they will do is, at that spot where the soldier was killed, that's where they will go and raise down everywhere.
Right.
Because they cannot trace those who must have committed it. So, the citizens should be vigilant, of that location.
Okay.
They should be vigilant and they know what to do.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister Evans. Beyond the citizens being vigilant, it breaks my heart when you said the government are no longer or are not in charge of their states. That's a big one. Cyril, give us a panoramic view of what the real issues are. That's one. And what do you think the solution might be? Because just like the barrister said, releasing Nnamdi Kanu may not be the elixir. Tell us what you think the federal government and state government should be doing at this point to ensure safety in the Southeast.
So maybe I should start with the second question. I liked the vigor and charisma Governor of Enugu brought in when he became governor of Enugu State. He had gone to meet Mr. President. There was some person, Mr. President, release Nnamdi Kanu to me. He did that spot on, said, give Nnamdi Kanu, hand him over to me. I want to take responsibility for this whole thing. I want a resolution for the crisis. The president didn't oblige him for good or bad reasons, starting. But I think maybe he should have. Because for one, somebody was, people always accuse Southeasterners of not having leadership, of not being, of being too Republican or collegial. So somebody came out and said, I want to take this responsibility on. The government didn't oblige you.
So everyone has released Nnamdi Kanu that way before to someone.
Yes, but
so former deputy
of course I understand
governor of Abia State.
Oh well, but not he only signed shorty, but not a governor.
Signing shorty is the what is the release?
Yeah, but not on bill, right? Not as a political solution in the sense in which Peter Bad can't to Mr. President. That's one. The second thing is that I also think that Southeast government, the discussion is always around sit at home, don't sit at home. But the Ipob people should not only be visible and active during the sit at home, because the matter is not sit at home. Sit at home is only a part of the agitation or an expression of their so why are we waiting until when it's start on Monday? They will start talking. When Peter Bad say, don't come out. And so I think that if they are armed, don't let them until they are out on the street. Take the battle to them where they are. This is the reason you have state intelligence services, right? You have the army, you have the police. Why do you wait until the day they come and shoot them and say, unknown government?
But this is a non-conventional warfare. This is a non-conventional
exactly.
warfare. You don't know who they are, you don't know where they operate. These might just be businessmen who are doing their daily business and would go back to...
I'm sorry, Henry. It may not be entirely correct to say, yes, unconventional in the way and manner we see it manifest. But you see, for me, I believe personally that the violence in the South is not organic, it's not natural. It is man-made, it is imposed, it is designed. Why do I say so? We had the prison break in Kuje, where we later had that the gates for the intelligence reports up the echelons, and that we are not going to do anything about it. when they were in prison break broke, we also had that nearly to something was affected. Nobody did anything about it. Have you got anybody to book? Somebody came out and recorded the video and said, and spoke to the fact that it was his people that were responsible for this security in the southeast. Or was it nobody? He had not been arrested. The man in question, for information, was an astronaut with the president. Then they said that he and the president have been friends for more than 30 years. Come on, we are in this country together. And the question really should be, who are those making profit from the crisis in the southeast? That's the first question. But these people are not operating anywhere that as far as I'm concerned. And what do they do? Hide somewhere, plan, come out, attack, then run back. Boko Haram is different, brother. Boko Haram comes and they want to kidnap an entire village and they succeed using bikes and so on. These people come in Siena, we've seen videos. Young men, they come in Siena buses, their own is like hit and run thing. But even if it's not conventional,
they kidnap people too like that.
And
you will not see that person for life again.
Fine, but it is not beyond the states to deploy its resources as it should. He is telling this in every listing in the
process. The governors have failed.
And well, yes, the governors have failed, but to again, that also raises questions. Are the governors willing? Are the governors really able? Are they, to what extent? What's really the true picture? A group slapped Ipob in Germany some years ago. Somebody told me that as he was speaking to, I said, it was this right. He said, well, I think he was sympathetic with the slap. Then he said that as he was talking to him, that there was a bounty on the heads of all the governors in the southeast. These things happen. Before I should hear, the DSS should have had. You know, my question is, what is the way and manner in which the Nigerian government is also giving vent and legitimacy to the agitation? By the way, in which they are attacking and becoming house in a okay? By the way, they extraordinarily did this admission. And by the way his trial has gone, there's a lawyer who said that it is not illegal but unlawful. But as you know, the government can do what's possible, even when it may not be legal, but people just believe that this thing really should go this way. They have different perception to the point that they are making it like, we will do what we will do. You do your own part. Before Ambassador Kamichi died, the first minister of aviation, he led a hyper delegation of Southeast leaders, Catholic bishops, everybody went to Abuja and said, please hand the can over to us. You cannot tell me that if even our Mr. President is calling for what's the political solution. So if they don't want to be political, what is the solution to the matter? Have they been able to quell the brilliant house? As far as I'm concerned, I'm not depending on government to solve the issue. I'm looking to leadership. You know the leadership. People that have emotional intelligence.
There's a deficit of that.
There's a deficit of it. The government has failed, and what has the presidency done? Somebody somewhere must wake up to responsibility, must think, you see, even if, now look at Boko Haram. They are non-state actors, they are terrorists, right? They are bandits, and they do all kinds of things. Is the government not making intervention for them and for their victims? You now have the Northeast Development Commission. Who created that? God is even going on to say that they are rehabilitating repentant Boko Haram members who go back to kill their fathers. After they've been so-called rehabilitated. You see that they rehabilitate them looking like people are in a very clean facility, and then those whom the dispossessed of their homes and farms are languishing in the what does government do to those that they arrest in Southeast in the name of our own government? Why have they not found them to be repentant? So this issue, the government that failed, fine. So should we just read out there and say they failed, and so let the matter be like that? We need leadership.
The responsibility of the federal government by the constitution is to provide the security and welfare of the people.
Exactly.
So the federal government must wake up to that responsibility. You see, as a sovereign, which is the state, region, in our current unitary federal states, that contradiction, whatever it means, unitary because everything seems to be going for the federal government in terms of defense, security, and all that. You're unable to manage it. You're unable to manage that security. Okay, what is left is that you will blame the governor to the extent at which they can provide security, because they don't command the army, they don't command the police, they don't command anything. Okay? So you will blame them to the extent of which they can command power.
Yeah.
Then blame the federal government wholesomely for not, undertaking its responsibility to rescue the Southeast from the problem that have engulfed it. Because the Southeast agitation is quite clear in a way. There are secessionist group, there are those who are criminals among them. But there is no fundamentalism. There is no faith-based religious coup. Moral appeal. Okay, doctrinal and moral appeal to define a path. You don't have that. So that of the South seems to me more amenable than what you have in the North. Okay, so if you are unable to take care of that which is propelled by belief and religion, you should be able to take care of that which is propelled by economic injustice or just feelings of marginalization and all that. You should be able to do that. So, but not being able to do the two at the same time would mean that you have no government.
Now, I totally agree with what you said. There's no fundamentalism in the southeast of Nigeria, especially as against the agitation. But one thing you would not deny is there's a public apathy for the cause. Now, how do we address this with respect to conflict resolution when the public is in support of a cause which has generated to criminality? How do you now arrive at a reasonable conflict resolution in that?
That is why the federal government ought to have arrested the issue early enough. Because you see, there's this concept in psychology that the longer a problem stays, the longer a captor is with his captive, the tendency that the captive will begin to develop sympathy for his captor's cause. Whether the cause is genuine or propelled, whichever way it was propelled. When some of the Ipob girls were rescued, some of the girls swore to their God that they must go back to their captives. You understand? To their captors, rather. Because they have stayed long enough with them, and they have been so taught and immersed with the philosophy of that movement. These were girls that were taken from school where Western education was taught. They were kidnapped from there. I think they were about to write YA, meaning they have already developed capacity intellectually to a point where they could say no, yes. You understand? But they got with their captors and they changed their views. You understand? So that anytime you have, our government, we have no research in Nigeria. Okay? Government does not read the rhythm of society. As I speak to you now, this government does not know the social context of the Nigerian state that it is governing. How can you not know the social variation, the misery index, the pulse of society that you govern? That's an indictment on the government. So it means the government have no solution to the problem at hand.
Very, very true. Yes, that's a big one, honestly, if you ask me, and the truth remains, when you get to mask people who are intellectually, endowed, when you get to mask them with issues that are not in any way, simpatical with what they believe in, it makes it more difficult for them to be progressive, for them to give out their very, very best. And of course, that's what is happening in the southeast of Nigeria. A typical Igbo man is all about how can he make the next money. But right now, when they are beginning to, get induced with the fact that there is the cause is better than them going out to make ends for themselves.
And there's a part we're not seeing. Those who are being born into this struggle now, the ones that are being given birth to now, this thing started about 4 or 5 years ago, right? Those ones that are giving birth to now, you cannot pull them out of this struggle.
So they become.
You cannot. Their parents have bequeathed enough legacy in their head. This is what it is. Remember, they don't know better. They don't know the other side. They don't know what it was before the crisis. They don't know what it was during the war. So this is the only thing they know, and the population is increasing. So in 20 years from now, you cannot tell them an alternative story.
Mr. Sewell, just in for 60 seconds, the role of the National Orientation Agency is not just to push the national anthem.
Yeah.
Nigeria will help you.
For us to learn how to sing
the national anthem. Now, this is one cause I want to believe the National Orientation Agency should be head on, in order to, revitalize the minds of the people and decamp them from that thought that they've been built with. How do you think this can be better placed?
So, again, there's a danger. I have always said that Nigeria needs to define its essence clearly for all to see. Because, you see, propaganda social mobilization has its limits. You cannot be marketing a country to me that is based on injustice, that puts merit beneath the table, that does not take care of the well of its citizens, a government that is clearly distant from these people. There's a limit to how much you can market, and that's why the national from marketing to entertainment, because entertainment feeds people's primordial sentiments sometimes, but marketing a country to its people must be based on substance. Then a message you are selling. Let me ask you, I was talking to Barrister actually before we came on air, because I just returned, and I was telling myself, in America, the poor die of obesity. And he concurred and added that in America, both the rich and the poor don't have food as part of the index of poverty. Food is not part of the index.
There's a parallel.
Yes, you can be rich, and this is because the government has taken them to define who even the poor in their society should be. And they are not poor because of government policy. They are poor because, I'm not going to realize maybe it is the extent of their own ability and gifts can take them. Do we have a country in which you are so sure? There was time the NNPC did recruitment, one that close to 20 years ago. The best candidate in the test was not employed.
They were not employed.
The NNPC, like this is NNPC, they did a job test. I think, was it for that way? The best candidate didn't end up being employed. So how do you want to tell such a person to believe in what? There was a soldier having to fight Boko Haram one time. One soldier that got injured. He was begging from office to office just for them to release money from the country to overseas. A soldier who wounded in battle. And you tell me that those who are not wounded there will be happy to come fight. So we need to create let's ask ourselves, what is a Nigerian? Who is he? Who should he be? What should be his economic strength? What should be his moral strength? And what should make him Nigerian? Like you met a German, met a Japanese. What should make him business in Nigeria? These are the kind of people about research. People should sit down and philosophize and think of what Nigeria should be and represent. Unfortunately, we're not there. We are, like they say, we are measuring on minors and minor on majors. Let me tell you this. There are some things civilized countries don't entertain. As far as I'm concerned, whether Ipob is the fault of the Ipobians or not, government has a duty to understand that this thing that's happening here does not represent our values. And so what can we quickly do to reintegrate them into, that must be sorted out. But for us to see what we're saying today, that people are just, them, be them, consign us. Nigerians speak of Nigerians in very derogatory terms. Like the even happening, I thought is happening in the southeast. Make it do them well. Is it right? Are we the one country? So this is the problem. And so for me, I think that, and again, like, it's leadership. Whether you're from the north or south or east or west, when you sit in Aso Rock, you are there for all Nigerians. Your policies, your programs, your values, your speeches, your philosophy, something that tries to aggregate what benefits everybody. But in a country where sometimes it's even very funny. The president has made appointments and you're reading the news. You can't even say anything that interests me. You see, so these are the issues. We must come back to thinking Nigeria until we put Nigeria first. I can assure you, Henry, that we will go around, just around.
The president of this country was so fixated in that nepotism that you were reading the list, a long list, and we found dead people. Dead people, but as long as they are from that side, they must be appointed, whether dead or alive.
What does that even mean?
Buhari appointed 5 dead.
Including Andos and Aro. It was the most shocking thing. Sorry, let me just have this. In civilized societies, there are some things that are not acceptable at all. We didn't hear that anybody was sanctioned Just like we had 2 days ago, where the president, 2 spokesmen gave conflicting. One even said what the other man said was unauthorized and was a lie. And that's where it all ends. If you can't,
and they still have their jobs.
If you can't organize your small inner circle effectively, why should you have faith that you can organize a society of? You see, Nigeria is not key, because in Nigeria every tribe sees the other tribe as its problem.
Yes.
So how then do we think that you have the sincerity and genuineness of intention to weld all of us together as one entity that believe that though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we can stand?
Very, very true. You see, Chinyere, all of these issues is because, just like our guests did say, failure of leadership, deliberate deficiency of good leadership. And that's what I think. I don't know.
And it's unfortunate that right now we are in that fight or flight mode. And I like that Sarah talk about, traumas of traumas that we have not healed from. In as much as I try as much as possible not to buy into some sort of pessimism, but I'm asking, at what points, do we have, people who are leaders, looking at the Machiavellian sort of policy that we play in this part, men who are genuine, men like Cyril Abako, men like, Barrister from Rabbi, who, can come up to leadership and then transform the Nigeria that we have today. It's unfortunate, really, but maybe we should, let me use our local parliament, ginger them to begin to see how we can have them, as leaders.
Very true. In Nigeria, we hail thee, and in brotherhood, we truly stand. I'd love to say thank you to Barrister Feli for being part of our show. Cyril Abako, thank you always making out time to be part of our show today. And for you, I would love to thank you most importantly for always giving us your time. We truly do appreciate you. But please do visit our website, www.enterprisetv.com, like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry.
And I'm Chinyere.
On behalf of the entire team of Enterprise Television, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week, Friday, for yet another great time. Bye-bye from us.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.